Guys, you are welcome to final revision for WAEC 2020 Mathematics Part 2. We have just concluded for Part 1 and it has been uploaded on the YouTube, and it has also been uploaded on Facebook and so many of our social media handles. And now we want to continue to solve some questions so that students can get prepared. You are welcome to I+ Academy. Something new is happening on iplusacademy.com. Just always check the site to know when it will commence. My name is Olanipekun Oluwagbenga and I'm the CEO of I+ Academy. If you are new on this channel, please, I would like you to subscribe, press the bell to get more of our videos that we have done, the notification for our videos, and so that you will not miss any from those good and quality videos. Now, let's look at the next question for part 2. A sector of a circle of radius 14 centimeters subtends an angle 135 degrees at the center. Now, they've mentioned sector. That is the first thing you look at, sector, right? So, a sector of a circle is a region bound by a radius, another radius, then what? An arc. So, this is a sector. A sector is like a cone, but not a solid shape like a cone. So this is a sector, radius, then what? Then an arc. Now look at the question. They said calculate what? The area of a sector. Before now, you should have memorized and know the formulas for area of a sector to be theta over 360 times 2 pi r squared. Pi r squared. That is a formula. Pardon me, pi r squared. So our theta has been given to be what? To be 135 degrees divided by 360, then times 22 over 7, and our radius we have 14 squared. That means 14 times 14. If you do the numerator very well, you will be getting 582120 divided by 2520. And if you divide these very well, you will be getting 231. Don't forget your unit, centimeter squared. Now, the second question says, find the perimeter of the sector. Like I said before, you have to know what you are dealing with before you can be able to solve the question correctly. Is that okay? Good. Now, perimeter means going around the shape, and the shape is a sector. So we have radius plus length of an arc. So let's do that together. Good. So perimeter of a sector, look at that, is equals to 2 radii plus arc, theta over 360 times 2 pi r. Sector, perimeter, we have this. For area of a sector is pi r squared. Please don't forget that. So we have 2 into, what do we get as our radius? Our radius was 14, so we have 14, very good. Plus we have 135 divided by 360 times 2 times 22 over 7, then times radius, which is 14, correct. So 2 times 14 is giving us 28. Then plus, if you multiply the top very well, you'll be getting 83160, and 360 times 7 is always 2520. It has not changed. So if you divide this, 83160 divided by 2520, you'll be getting 33. And if you add them together, you'll be getting what? 61. And that is 61 centimeter, because we are looking for perimeter of a sector. Now the next one says find the area of a segment. What is a segment? That is the first thing that will come to your mind. A segment is a region bound by a chord. Look at that. A chord. This is a segment. And this is a chord, right? And an arc. So to calculate the area of that, it will be area of the whole sector. Remember, we are looking for this shaded portion here, minus area of triangle. So let's begin. Area of a segment, please listen to that, of a segment equals area of sector, good, minus area of triangle. And in this case, we have R and we have R, and there is included angle. If you watch our part 1, I said we have like 3 ways of finding the area of a triangle. One of the ways is R times the 2 sides, then we have sine theta, which will be useful here. So area of a sector has been found before in question A to be 231. Then the area of a triangle will now be half. R is 14 squared, then sine 135. That is the angle given. So we have 231, is that okay? Minus half, 14 squared will give us 196. Then sine 135 is 0.7071. Is that okay? So we have 231. If you do this very well, you'll be getting 69.2958. Good. So that becomes 161.70 centimeters squared. And that is the area of the segment. Good. Let's look at the next question. Find the area of a rhombus of length of side 6 centimeter with an angle now. Look at that. There is an angle now that we have here. We have an angle given. So anytime we have an angle given, the formula will be area equals L squared sine theta. And in part 1 and many of our videos, we have always calculated the area of a rhombus when 2 diagonals are given as half times D1 times D2. Right, good. So find the area of a rhombus. That becomes A. So we are going to be using the first equation, right? Very good. So we have this. L is 6 squared, then sine 60. And that becomes what? 36 times sine 60 is 0.8660. I've also given the sine, cosine, and tangent, the trigonometry ratios of special angles. You can go to our previous videos to check that. And if you multiply this very well, you'll be getting 36. You can multiply with your calculator, 0.8660. So you'll be getting 36 times 0.8660, 31.18 centimeter squared. Very good, and that will be the answer. Okay, the next question. Find the area of a triangle. Like I said also, triangle has more than 2 ways by which we can find its area. One of them is half base times height, right? One of them is what? Half base times height. Then another one is when you are given 2 sides with included angle. We are going to be having A equals half the two sides, then sine theta. The third one is what we have been given to solve here. So the area when 3 sides are given will be square root using the Hero's formula. S into S minus A, S minus B, and S minus C, where A, B, C are the sides of the triangle, and where S is what we call semi-perimeter. Divide by 2. So that becomes what? 16 plus 16 plus 16 divided by 2. And that becomes 48 divided by 2. That becomes what? 24 centimeter. You have to always semi-perimeter. So our area will now be, let's put the values. S, we have 24 into 24 minus A, and A is 16. Let me clean that so that you don't get confused. So that is 16, right? 24 minus 16 for the second side. Then, so this is used when 3 sides are given. Is that okay? So we now move on from there. So our area will now be square root of, what is 24 minus 16 going to give us? Will give us 8, then 8. So 24 times 8 times 8. Everything there will give us what? Everything will give us area will now be equals to 576, right? 576. And if you do the square root very well, you'll be getting 24 centimeter squared. And that's how to calculate the area. The next question, AP. Now, the first term of an AP is minus 8. In AP and GP, first term is represented as A. And in this question is minus 8. Now, look at that. The ratio of the seventh term, so that means T7 ratio means division as well. T9 is what? 5/8, as in A ratio B is simply what? A/B. Is that okay? Find the common difference. We are looking for common difference, usually D. You have to quickly note that nth term of an AP is A plus N minus 1D, where D is a common difference, where A is the first term, and where N is the nth term. Is that okay? So let's put the values there. So we are going to be having T7 will now be what? A plus 6D. Is that okay? Over T9 will be A plus 8D. Is that okay? Equals to 5/8. And remember that what? A is already given as minus 8. So I'm going to be having minus 8 plus 6D over minus 8 plus 8D equals 5/8. What's the next thing we do? We need to cross multiply. Very good. So if you cross multiply very well, you are going to be having 5 brackets minus 8 plus 8D into minus 64. That is 8 times minus 8 minus 64 plus 8 times 6D. You get 48D. So let's multiply this one out. Minus 40 plus 40D, right? Equals minus 64. Remember that we are looking for common difference, and that is D. Collect like terms. So we have 40D minus 48D equals minus 64 plus 40. Is that okay? We're going to be getting what here? 40D minus 48D will give us minus 8D. Minus 64 plus 40 will give us minus 24. Divide by minus 8. Divide by minus 8. So D becomes what? 3. And that is the common difference. So any question can come out in AP. Just know the formula and move on with it. Is that okay? Now look at this. Using the formula method, solve 2x squared minus 10x minus 12 equals to 0. That's what we are looking for next. Now, but the formula, the question is specific to what we use. We can use factorization method. We can use the formula method. We can use the graphical method or the completing the square method. But it says use the formula method. And before you can use the formula method, you have to write the formula out. And the formula to solve any quadratic equation is minus b plus or minus, you have to know this formula, b squared minus 4ac everything over 2a. Now, where a is the coefficient of x squared, and that is 2. Where b is minus 10, and where c is minus 12, the constant. So putting the values there, we are going to be having minus, watch that, that is minus 10 plus or minus 10 squared, right, minus 4 times 2, then times minus 12. Everything over 2 times 2. And we're going to be having negative times negative will give us positive, plus or minus. So we have what here? Minus 10 squared, negative 10 squared will give us 100, right? Negative times negative is positive. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 12 will give us 96. So everything to 4. So what do? You add up. We are going to be having x will now be equals to 10 plus or minus 100 plus 96 will give us 196, right? Remember everything over 4, don't forget that. So that x will now be 10 plus or minus, what's the root of 196? That will be 14 over 4. So our x is now, we are going to be getting two answers as usual, plus 14 over 4 or 10 minus 14 over 4. So that x will now be 10 plus 14, that is 24 over 4. And that gives us what? 6. Or 10 minus 14, that is what? Minus 4 over 4. And that is minus 1. Therefore, x equals to 6 or minus 1. You get your full mark. Get your full mark. Now look at this question. In our previous video, even with the live video I did, lesson I did on Facebook, we solved so many questions on Polygon. You can follow us up on our Facebook page. We have it there, I+ Academy. Just type it there, you'll see it. So a regular polygon of n size, they're giving us that it is n. We don't know the name. Of exterior of as each exterior angle. So each exterior angle equals to 45 degrees, right? Then find n. So what do? We know that each exterior, it now becomes what? Each exterior angle will be equal to 360 divided by n. And each exterior have been given as 45. 360 over n. What do? Cross multiply. So if you divide both sides by 45, so that your n becomes what? If you divide very well, you are going to be getting what now? That will be 8. So that means the polygon is octagon. That means the polygon is octagon. So solve more questions on that. This one is easy. In an online test, a student obtained 30 marks out of a possible 40. What percentage was this? Now, what do you think we are going to do here? Very good. We are going to be having what? Percentage will be 30. You got 30 from 40, and that will be times 100. And that becomes 30 divided by 40. We get 0.75, then times 100. So that will be 75%. So let's look at the next question. Yeah, the area of a square. Area of a square, note that. Area of a square. Yeah, the area of a square is equal. You have to bring out those things to the area of a triangle. That means we have area of a square equals to what? Area of triangle, right? Now, what is area of a square? That is why you're going to begin x squared, L squared. And what is area of a triangle? We have different types. You have to go and check the question very well. Of base, good. I haven't mentioned base, so that means we are going to be using this type. Find the length of the square. So we have x squared still, half, the base 9, then the altitude, that is the height, 32. So if you do this very well, you're going to be getting 2 here 1, 2 here 16, and L squared will be 9 times 16, and L squared will be 144, such that L gives us what now? Square root of 144, and that is what? 12 centimeters, and that is the length of that square. Now look at this question also. ABCD is a rhombus. Everything is rhombus. That is A here, right? Is a rhombus. A. B, C, D is a rhombus as shown below. BXD is a circular arc of center A. Okay. Calculate the area of the shaded portion. Look at shaded portion there. The shaded portion, we cannot say that this is the name of a shaded portion. But how can we solve that? We can solve it by saying area of the bigger shape, and that is a rhombus. Area of a rhombus, I've given you, or we have solved so many questions on area of rhombus, both the one with diagonals and the one with angles. So area of rhombus minus area of sector, right? Very good. We give us area of the shaded portion. Area of shaded section. Is that okay? Okay. Now, what is the area of a rhombus in this regard? I told you that the area of the rhombus will now be L squared, that is psi squared, then sine theta. While the area of a sector is what? Theta over 360 times pi r squared. So I purposely try to solve more shapes so that many people always find shapes difficult for them inside the examination. So that's why I'm solving more shapes. We have solved so many questions in the time past. Now L is 9, so we have 9 squared sine 70, is that okay? Minus 70 over 360 times 22 over 7, then times what? 9 squared. What is 9 squared going to be? That is 81, right? Times sine 70 is 0.9394. Very good. Then minus, if you multiply the top, the numerator, you'll be getting 124 740 over 2520, right? So if you do this very well, you're going to be getting 76.0914 minus 49.5, and if you subtract, you'll be getting 26.59. remember, area centimeter squared, and that is it. So go and check what we have done. Look at this, a prism. A prism is a solid shape, usually with a pointed stuff, like their perpendicular height at the top, like a cone. A cone is a circular prism. So prisms are named according to their base. So the volume of a prism is usually 1/3 times cross-sectional area. Let's say circular area or cross-sectional area. It could be circular, it could be rectangular, it could be triangular, it depends. Times cross-sectional area. Cross-sectional area, then times perpendicular height. Is that okay? So the volume has been given to be 72, and we have 1/3, and the cross-sectional area has been given to be 18, then times the height we are looking for. So 3 here 1, 3 here 6. So we are left with 72 equals 6h, right? Therefore, if you divide both sides by 6, your h should be what now? 72 divided by 6. And when you do that very well, you're going to be getting 12 centimeter. Yeah, 12 centimeter, and that is correct. Now look at this question also. One side of a rectangle is 8 centimeter and the diagonal is 10 centimeter. What is the area of the rectangle? Look at that. So you have to interpret the question well. Anytime you see a question of this nature, you interpret the question well. Now a rectangle, you are given a rectangle, right? A rectangle has been given. So the question says that the rectangle has a diagonal of 10 centimeter. So diagonal is anything that is drawn from one edge to the other. So 10 centimeter, and one of the side is 8 centimeter. Let's say that we are looking for this place now. Why? Because find the area, length times breadth. So we have a right angle triangle, right? So let's bring out that right angle triangle out. Let's bring it out very well. So we have a right angle triangle. Good. So we have this one as 10 and as 8. We are looking for this y. So using Pythagoras theorem, says this square of the longest side, called the hypotenuse, is equals to the square of the other two sides, their sum. So 10 squared is 100, y squared, and a squared is 64. So we'll be having 100 minus 64, and if you subtract that, you'll be getting 36, such that y will now be square root of 36, and that becomes 6 centimeter. So that means here is now 6. Now remember that what? Area of a rectangle is what? Length times breadth, and that is what? 8 times 6, and that gives us what? 48 centimeter squared, and that is it. So you have to interpret questions well. Let's look at the next one. Yeah, a cuboid. A cuboid is a solid shape. So your mind will go to all these shapes. They can come out tomorrow. A cuboid has a length 13 centimeter, width 9 centimeter, and height. Calculate the length of diagonal. So the length of diagonal has a formula. It has a formula as well. So length of diagonal. Check up our previous videos. Length of diagonal of a cuboid is just equals to square root of length squared of width squared then height squared. It's as easy as that. And that gives us 13 squared, 9 squared, a squared. And that gives us what? 169 plus 81 plus 64. And that gives us what? 314. And if you do the square root very well, you're going to be getting 17.72 centimeter. That is the area, the length of diagonal of the cuboid. I think this is the second to the last before we do graph. I think so. Now the rope of length 8 centimeter is used to form a sector of a circle. Now look at that. A rope. You have a rope. You have a rope, right? The length of this rope is 18 centimeter. Is okay? But it is used to form a sector. To form a sector of radius 3.5 centimeter, right? What is the size of the angle? That means we are already been given the perimeter of the sector because length is synonymous with perimeter. So we have been given the perimeter of the sector, and the perimeter of the sector is what? 2r plus length of arc theta over 360 times 2 pi r. Perimeter has been given as 18. Good. And our radius, we have 3.5. We are looking for the angle of the sector. So theta over 360 times 2 times 22 over 7, then times radius 3.5. So if we do this very well, we are going to be getting 18 equals 2 times 3.5 will give us 7. And the numerator will give us 2 times 22 is 44 times 3.5 theta. 360 times 7 has not changed to be 2520, right? So if you should do that very well now, that will give us the 7 can go to the other side, right? And that will be 18 minus 7 equals, so we have 44 times 3.5 divided by 2520. So I'm going to be getting 0.06111 theta. So 18 minus 7 will give us 11 equals 0.06111 theta. So if you divide both sides by 0.06111, so theta will be giving us 18.0 degree. So that is the angle formed on the sector, right? Okay, the last question before graph. Look at this question. A conical funnel 12 centimeter deep. So this kind of question can come out as well. A conical funnel, that means a funnel in form of a cone. That is the meaning. Look at that here. Yeah. It's okay. So we have this together there. So it's 12 centimeter deep. That means the height is 12 centimeter. Good. And 15 centimeter diameter. So the diameter has been given to be 15 centimeter. Is full of liquid. It is emptied into a cylinder. It is emptied into a cylinder 10 centimeter in diameter. Calculate the height of the liquid in that cylinder that we are looking for, the height. So in that case, we are going to be having volume of cone equals volume of cylinder. Is that okay? And what's the volume of cone? 1/3 pi r square h. And what's the volume of cylinder? Pi r square h. Remember that pi can cancel pi here. If you check the question very well, the radius of the diameter given for the cone was 15 centimeters. So diameter for cone 15 centimeter. Therefore, radius for cone will be what? 15/2, and that is 7.5 centimeter. Also, we have the diameter for cylinder to be 10 centimeter. Therefore, radius for cylinder will be 10/2, and that is what? 5 centimeter. Is that okay? So we can now move on. That becomes 1/3 times r. The r will now be 7.5 squared. Is that okay? Then we have the height to be 12. The radius for this one is 5 squared. We are looking for the height here. So if you do this very well, we're going to be getting what now? 225 equals to 10 squared is 100 h. Good. So that h will now be 225 divided by 100. So that h will now be 2.25 centimeter. So that is the height of that cylinder. That is the height of that cylinder. Good. Now we have come to graph. Graph always come out too. Let's look at this. Now, if you are still new on this channel, please subscribe and press the bell to get more of our videos notification, so that you can have a grasp of what you are doing. We are going to leave this. We have solved that before. Yeah, look at this question here. This is a question on cumulative frequency. It will surely come out. The frequency distribution shows the mark of 100 students in a mathematics test. We have their marks in grouped form, and we have the frequency. Draw a cumulative frequency curve for the following. Then use your curve to estimate median, the lower quartile, and the rest of them. Now, the first thing you're going to do is to calculate what we call cumulative frequency, CF. Then, having done that, you will now plot a graph of cumulative frequency, CF, against the upper class limit, this. Or you can use upper class boundary, any one of your choice. I prefer using this. Why? Because it will not have decimal. Most students find decimal difficult to use. So let's get started. Now look at that. 1 to 10, the frequency is 2. Up to that, then the summation of the frequency will give you 100. The first thing you do is your CF, cumulative frequency. You will start with the first frequency you have here, right? The first frequency you have here, that is what you're going to start with. And we have 2. Is that okay? So now say 2 plus 4, you see, you get 6. 6 plus 9, 15. 15 plus 13, 28. 28 plus 18, 46. 46 plus 32, 91. 91 plus 5, 96. 96 plus 3, 99. 99 plus 1, 100. You must get the 100 here. They must tally. If not, go and check again. There's a mistake there. You will now plot this on y-axis against all this on x-axis. Is that okay? and it's as easy as that. So let's quickly plot the graph before I show you what the final thing that I have done there. Let me use this black to draw it. So just pick point of your choice. Let's see whether we can quickly draw this. So we have the marks now. This one we have up to 100. Let's use 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And this is CF, right? Then for the marks, we have 10, we have 20, we have 30, we have 40, we have 50, we have 60, we have 70, we have 70, we have 80, we have 90. It's up to 100, so I will clean this up. It must be 100. Is that okay? So that means we have to clean this. So that's how you plan. You plan also. You plan. So let's shift it to the end here. Yeah, to the end, please. Let's shift to the end. Yeah. So we have 10, we have 20, we have 30, we have 40, we have 50, we have 60, 70, 80, 90, then we have 100. Good. So this one we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So this place is CF, mind you, and this is the mark. So what do? Now start checking. When it was 2, you will get 10. 2, 10. Yeah. Then when it was, let me use blue to do it. 10, 2, 10, 2. 26, 26. You count very well. 30, 15, 30, 15. It will be half of this, 15. 40, 28, 40, 28. Yeah. 50, 46. 50, 46, right? 60, 78. 60, 78. Yeah. 70, 91. 70, 91. 80, 96. 90, 99. 90, 99. Then 100. Then we have 100 there. So if you draw them very well now, you are going to be getting this. So you just trace it out very well. I know that with this you should be able to do it. And I have the final answer here like this. Look at it here now. Now let's look at the next question. Find from your graph, find what? The 50th percentile. Find the median. That was the question says. Find the median. And how can we find median? This is how you do it. Median. Median is the second quarter. And that is Q2. The second quarter, Q2. And Q2 means half times the total frequency. That is a position for that. And that becomes half times the total frequency is 100. If you do that very well, that gives us 50th position. So you go and trace it. You go and trace 50. You go and trace 50. So you trace 50 until it touches the curve. You trace 50 until it touches the curve, right? So you trace it down. So that will be 53 or 52 or thereabouts. Is that okay? So trace your own well and you should be getting it right. If you trace well, you should be getting it. Let me trace it again. So if you trace it well, you can see that it falls on 52. So you now go back. This is Q2. This is Q2. That is your median. So you now say median when you trace the answer now. So median now is equals to 52. You must write what you are saying there. Then you can say find the 25th percentile. That is question B. 25th percentile. Percentile is talking about 100. That is 25. So if you calculate the first quarter, let me look at the question again. The first quarter. Find the lower quarter, yeah, the lower quarter. So the lower quarter is what we are looking for here now. So the lower quarter, that is Q1. The lower quarter is Q1. Lower quarter. The same way, lower quarter is Q1. And Q1 simply means 1/4 times n th, and that becomes what? 1/4 times 100. If you do this very well, you're going to be getting 25th position there. So you go and trace again 25th. You go and trace again 25th position. 25, you trace. You trace your 25 again. So if you trace very well, it will be falling on something like 39 or 38. Please get the graph and draw yours. So that is Q1. So if you write, this one becomes what? Q1 equals 39. And that is it. The last one says you calculate the 60th percentile. 60th percentile. Now 60th percentile simply means 60/100 times n, and in this case 60/100 times 100. Is that okay? And that is also 60th. So you go and trace 60. You can use this. The deal is not so clear, but I'm doing it live here. So 60 for 60th percentile, 60. If you use 60, let's see what we're going to get. You'll be getting 55, correct? 55. This one is 60th percentile. Good. So 60th percentile, when you trace it very well, it will be giving us what? So 60th percentile, when traced well, will give us what? 55. Now there are so many other things that you can be asked to calculate. There are so many. We are finished with the question, but I want to extend you more. You can say you calculate interquarter range. Interquarter range. It's possible they can ask you this. Interquarter range. Remember, a range is bigger, the biggest number minus smallest. But interquarter range simply means upper quartile minus lower quartile. Upper quartile is your 3/4 of n. If you get your this, you now trace it again. The value you get here minus the value you get from 1/4 of n. When you trace it, the value you get here and you get here, you subtract it. They can also have a semi-interquartile range. Semi-interquartile range is just your Q3 minus Q1 over 2. I want to wish you good luck, and I pray that Lord will help you to succeed in this. Amen. And if you are still new on this channel, please press the bell for our notification and share this video that we have done basically for people that are writing WAEC, and it can be there. You can come back to learn from it every now and then.